Hello my fellow weirdos, my name's Marie McWilliams. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video we are doing a deep dive review of The Deep by Alma Katsu. So guys, this book I was immediately drawn to because it is set on the Titanic, which was built here in Belfast and is a huge part of our history. So I really love the idea of a part of my country and city's history being given a kind of new paranormal horror twist. Storyline is as follows. We follow a young girl called Annie Hebley. Annie is a stewardess on board the Titanic, and pretty early on there seems to be some kind of weird phenomenon happening, some eerie circumstances, strange goings on, and then there's a death, and it's obvious there's some kind of malevolent spirit on board the ship. Unfortunately, before they can really find out what's going on, obviously tragedy strikes, the ship sinks. Annie believes that a man that she fell in love with on board, that was kind of entangled up in all of this, by the name of Mark, is dead. And she then cuts a few years later to her being a nurse on board the Britannica, which is the Titanic's sister ship, and is now a hospital ship in the war effort. And a soldier's brought in a coma, and she realizes that it is in fact Mark, and he survived as well, and she's ecstatic to see him. But then the strange goings on start all over again, and the Britannic is headed straight for another disaster, just like the Titanic, you know, per history. So that's kind of the overall storyline. It's historical fiction, putting a kind of paranormal twist on some history that we're already familiar with, and I really loved that idea. So diving into what I thought about it, I really enjoyed this book. I mean, it was an entertaining book. It was a good read. Alma Katsu's an excellent writer. She's really good at writing characters and making them incredibly three-dimensional, believable. She has put so much research into this. It's obvious. Like I said, I grew up in Belfast. I've been to the Titanic Museum. I've been on board the little like taxi boat. I can't remember the name of it, but it took passengers to and from the Titanic. And I have seen the Titanic in drawing form, blueprint form. I've seen the replicas of the staircase. I have been in replicas of parts of it. So I know what it sort of looks like pretty well, and this paints an incredibly accurate and vivid portrayal and description of the ship itself. So I really appreciated that. I love the concept of a historical event and with a new kind of twist being put onto it. But, and this is where I'm marking it down slightly, there wasn't enough horror for me. It didn't have enough bite. This is publicized quite highly as a horror book. I mean, look at the cover. It says horror everywhere, all over the cover. And to be honest, the horror felt almost like secondary to the love triangle between Annie, Mark, and Mark's wife, Caroline. I wanted there to just be more. I wanted it to be darker and more awful and horrific. But it kind of felt like the parts that were there were kind of just sort of shoehorned in, and I don't know, I just wish there had been more, and I wish it had been a lot darker. Horror with more bite, essentially. It needed more bite for me. Also, the main characters, I kind of didn't like them. Annie comes across as whiny and whingy and pathetic a lot of the time. Mark's a selfish jerk. His wife's not that much better. It was just like, they kind of bothered me a bit. Saying that, the other characters on board the Titanic, amazing. There is two boxers called Les and Di who have a very intimate relationship. Les is kind of a con man. Di loves him, so he'll do whatever it takes to be around him, essentially, and they're on their way to America to make it big as boxers. Their relationship is just amazing. It is wonderful. I would have loved a book just about them, to be honest. I just wanted more. I loved them. Then there's this lady who is like a fashion designer for posh women, and she's a battle axe. She's all, you know, she understands the way society really works, and you have to claw your way to survival, and she's not going down without a fight. Lady Duff Gordon, that's her name. I really loved her in the book. She was a badass. She just said what she thought, which I really appreciated. Then there was a man called Mr. Stead, who was a journalist who was now a little bit disgraced. There was a bit of a scandal around him, and he served some jail time. He's the one who kind of believes in the paranormal. These side characters were so rich and wonderful, and I loved learning about them. I really did. And there were moments involving them, and obviously when the Titanic sinks, you know, not everyone's going to survive, and those moments genuinely made me well up. Like, I properly welled up when I was reading it. I was like, oh no. But the main characters, not so much. So that was a little bit disappointing. But overall, this is a really entertaining read. I really enjoyed learning about the Britannic, which is the sister ship to the Titanic, and I didn't realize that. I liked learning about how they converted it to a hospital ship, which I also didn't know. I liked all the historical context. Characters mentioned in this book are real and were on board the Titanic, and I really enjoyed that. And like I said, the research she's done is very clear, and it's really, really, really meticulous and appreciated. I really liked the idea behind it. I just don't think it was pulled off as well as it could have been. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 because I do recommend it. It's a good read if you like historical fiction, if you like romance, if you like the idea of both of those things but with a little bit of a paranormal twist, then this is perfect for you. I did enjoy it, but like I said, I would have liked it to be darker. I would have liked more horror, and for that horror to be a lot more toothy. I needed more bite. So yeah, guys, that's my opinion on The Deep. What about you? Have you read this book yet? Have you read anything else by Alma Katsu? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your opinions. Do you agree? Disagree? I would love to have a chat about it. But that's me. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell button so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Please like my video, leave a comment. It doesn't just help me with the algorithm on YouTube, but it means that I can connect with you guys and I can find new channels, new people to discuss books with. And that's what this is all about. So that's me for now. Bye.